Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's my first video of the day. I'm still in the middle of the hurricane. I did get out for a little bit this morning, but it's pretty bad out there, so I'm probably going to stay in the rest of the day. Brittany and I will. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about supinated Pendlay rows. The topic came up in my Q&As yesterday. Someone had asked the question, and I wasn't really sure where it came from, but I'm like, well, now that I think about it, I can actually support the idea of a supinated Pendlay row. Now, for people who don't know what that means, supinated means underhand grip, right? Just like a chin-up versus a pull-up. Pull-ups are overhand grip, chin-up is underhand grip. I generally advocate chin-ups instead of pull-ups. I'm not going to rehash all of that, but I have multiple videos on it of why it allows more muscles to be recruited. It's a better overall mass builder. It's a better overall size builder than the pull-up that you can pull a heavier weight usually through a longer range of motion and get more muscles involved without back involvement being reduced at all. You don't get any reduction in lat recruitment. So the chin-up is a slightly superior exercise, and like I've always said, the pull-up is a fantastic exercise. It's a fantastic exercise. So when you take a fantastic exercise and you have a variation of it that is superior, then that says a lot about the chin-up. Chin-up is one of the greatest exercises ever for just overall upper body development. It absolutely is, especially weighted chin-ups. So we have that there, and then people are always like, well, why don't you ever advocate underhand grip barbell rows? It comes down to risk versus reward analysis. Like when you weigh out what benefits, and that's what you should always ask. When you do a variation of an exercise, you should always ask yourself, does it have any benefits over a conventional version of the exercise? Does it bring something to the table that I'm not going to get from it? You know, so if you say you're doing a bench press, doing some variation of the bench press, is there a benefit to it? Are you going to get something out of it that you don't get out of the normal version, the more common version, right? And does it come with any additional risks? Now, risk reduction could be a benefit by itself. If an exercise gives you the same benefits but is slightly less risky of injuries or tears, then well, obviously that's a benefit. But that's what we're looking at. Yes, in theory, the underhand grip row could offer some benefits. The problem is that, how do most people do them? They do them standing. How many people who do rows are capable of doing a strict row? Very few. Tons of people cheat. Tons of people cheat. They do cheat reps. Relatively safe with a double overhand grip to some extent. I'm not saying people haven't been hurt that way. A lot of people say that all the heavy cheat rows contributed to Ronnie Coleman's back injuries. And that is definitely possible. Injuries can happen with it, particularly when poundages start going up. Well, what's the two problems we run into here? Number one, because a lot of guys cheat row, and because they're holding it from a dead hang, and they're not putting it down on the ground on every rep, what happens? They strap up. Because they don't have the grip strength to pull their heavy cheat rows. They don't have the grip strength to pull them. So they end up strapping up. Now, an underhand grip, it's even slightly harder to grip. It's actually a better grip exercise. Underhand grip is actually better for building grip strength because it's more difficult. Well, you see the problem here? Guys are doing cheat rows without putting it down on the floor on every rep, while letting it hang, and then they go to a variation that's even more difficult on your grip. What else is the issue? You're also putting the bicep in a more compromised position. So people are putting the bicep in a more compromised position. They're strapping up so that they can pull an even heavier weight with the underhand grip, and then they start doing cheat rows with a weight that they have no business rowing. Oftentimes 100, 150 pounds more than they have any business rowing. You guys see the issue there? Bicep tears. Even Dorian Yates tore his bicep doing this. Bicep tears. It's a risk of a bicep tear. The perceived benefits of it, which are potentially there, are outweighed by the risk of a bicep tear. And it is very real on a cheat row. Very real on a cheat row doing underhand grip. Particularly when you're strapped into it. You can't just turn loose of it the second your bicep starts to hurt or you feel fatigued. You can't let go as easy once you're strapped in. That fraction of a second longer to turn loose absolutely puts your biceps at risk. Well, when we think about a Pendlay row, you can't cheat as much. You have to pull it off the floor on every rep. Also, it's a good grip strength builder, but you shouldn't need to strap up for it. So no straps, stricter movement, force use a lighter weight more explosively. The bicep tear risk goes away. What do you gain from it? Well, you get all the benefits of a row because you don't lose any lat involvement. You don't lose any latissimus dorsi, mid-trap, posterior delt, none of that. You don't lose any of that by going to an underhand grip. But what you gain, slightly better grip training, some more grip strength. So if you're doing 10, 15 sets of these a week, that's a lot of extra grip training. All right, that will build your grip up to be even stronger on the deadlift. More importantly, most people do a mixed grip on the deadlift for good reason. I'm a big supporter of the mixed grip. Some people say, oh my God, I can't believe that. Well, I am. I'm a big supporter of the mixed grip. I think you should be mixed gripping on the deadlift, because you're training one of your other grip exercises that helps build your grip for your deadlift, one of your higher volume exercises, your Pendlay rows, training an underhand grip. That's also going to carry over to your good underhand grip training on the deadlift. All right, I think it makes it a good accessory for that. What else do you get? More bicep involvement. More bicep involvement, just like on the chin-up. Therefore, it gives you another solid bicep exercise into your routine so that you have to spend less time worried about isolating them. And I think that's, again, kind of the whole point with serious training, and one of the things I always point out. You shouldn't have to isolate more than one or two muscles in your body. Some people never need to isolate anything. It's poor setting up of a routine, an imbalanced routine, sometimes exacerbated by people who aren't genetically gifted in a certain area that requires people to do lots of isolation work. This gives you another well-rounded compound exercise. It's a good accessory for your deadlifts. It's a good accessory for several other lifts that is now also a stronger bicep builder. And most people on things like Pendlay rows, people who use these exercises tend to do a relatively large number of sets per week. Rarely less than 5. Some people 10, 15. I've done as many as 30 sets a week, even when I was filmed them on YouTube, and I was filming my whole week workouts before for powerlifting. Yeah, I do up to 30 sets of Pendlay rows a week. Well, that's a heck of a lot of additional bicep training in there. Again, would reduce the need for people to have to spend time isolating their biceps. Again, wasting time in the general fluff exercises. So yeah, there's some real perks here. It's a good bicep exercise. It's a good grip trainer in addition to having all the other benefits of a Pendlay row. So could I support this? Yeah. And the reason I guess I brought this up, Mark Rippetoe apparently endorsed it this week too. Several people have linked it to me. Now that I covered it yesterday, I've seen links to people saying, oh, Mark Rippetoe's endorsing this. What do you think about that? And you know what? I'm fine with Mark Rippetoe endorsing it. It makes sense as an exercise. I can see that it brings something extra potentially to the table without real drawbacks. And I don't always agree with Rippetoe, guys. I want people to understand that. Like one of the biggest disagreements I have with Rippetoe is using a low bar squat for field athletes. I think they should be high bar squatting. That's a big, big disagreement. If you think about it, it kind of is. It's a major point of contention, but I think Rip is about 90% right on the things that he recommends. I'd say he's correct, at least from what I would agree with, 90% of the time. Not so much as diet advice, but training advice, yeah, absolutely. He's right about 90% of the time, at least 90%. And on this particular case, since I already had looked at it the other day and was looking at the questions, I said, yeah, I could support that. I've never heard of anyone doing a reverse grip or supinated grip Pendlay row. But when I think about it, it does make sense as an exercise. It is a valuable exercise. It's one that I could see myself considering doing myself. So I could support that. And then people are saying, well, what do you think about Mark Rippetoe endorsing it? Well, I don't have any problem with that. I think it makes sense as an exercise. So I think he's right on this one. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.